If you have a lot of uncertainty that you're going through in life, but you're still trying to be successful and you're trying to marry that success with getting through the uncertainty, this episode is for you, so check it out. I'm Rickey Jasper, and this is the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. After getting laid off 2 times in 6 months, I realized I had to be chasing a greater vision in my life. I had to be walking into my calling. I spent time building up a successful fitness apparel business, and then now stepping back in front of camera to talk, to speak more, to hopefully inspire you to chase a greater vision in your life. And my goal with this podcast is for us to do it together, so let's make it happen. Welcome back to the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. I'm your host, Rickey Jasper. Today's episode is going to be a great one. I say that all the time because I fully, wholeheartedly believe it. Today we're talking about how to achieve success amidst uncertainty. We're living in a time where things are uncertain, job market's uncertain, so our safety's uncertain, but we still want to be successful or have a level of success. And I'm not just talking about monetary success. It could just be, I just want to have more time with my kids. I just want to be able to be a little bit healthier. Whatever your self-defined success is a valid thing. And you also have uncertainties that are happening through your life, areas that you can't control. The want to be successful and the uncertainty of your life, they can kind of conflict because uncertainty sometimes breeds stress, and then not having a level of success that you want also breeds stress. So we're going to talk about how to really marry that, how to help that out, how to make sure that you can achieve a level of success, your self-defined success, even when things are uncertain, they feel uncomfortable, they feel sticky, it doesn't just feel good. So we are going to get into that today. For our first segment, our head and heart hits segment, it's what hit me in the head, made me think logically, and what hit me in the heart made me feel. We have an author for this one today. The quote is, "Expect the best, prepare for the worst, capitalize on what comes." That is from Zig Ziglar. I love that quote. What hit me in the head, like really made me think, was the expect the best aspect of it. That really was something that like spoke to me because it's something that I typically don't do. I don't always expect the best. I do prepare for the worst, but I don't expect the best. And when you're not expecting the best, you're not seeing everything that could be. You're not seeing the opportunities. Where it hit me in the heart was the capitalize on what comes. And that for me was like a level of malleability, right? It's whatever comes your way, you're able to capitalize. It didn't say capitalize on the good things that come. It didn't just say capitalize on the bad things that come. It just said capitalize on what comes. And that could be good, bad, indifferent. But you have the ability and the choice to capitalize on it. So that really is a mindset shift to me. And I thought about it. I was like, well, I felt like I capitalized on a lot of the good things that happened. And some of the negative things, I feel like I just sat and complained about it and maybe over time capitalize on it, but I just didn't do a whole lot in the moment, and I didn't capitalize on it fast enough to push me in the right direction. So that's kind of what hit me in the head, what hit me in the heart with that. Now we are going to get into our tips and tricks moment. These tips and tricks are practical advice and knowledge that you can use on a daily basis. My focus is not to come off like, oh, I'm the expert at everything and blah, blah. No. I'm just going to be open and transparent about what I feel about this, what I'm going through, and areas that, these tips have helped me, that they're still helping me, and they will help me in the future as I grow. So the first tip of how to achieve success amidst uncertainty is expect the best. Now, it sounds simple because it is. I'm not naturally the most optimistic person, right? Like on camera and on, Instagram and everything, I can come off and say all these great things, but I really look for a lot of challenges in my life so that I can go through them, so that I can progress through them, so I can get stronger, have growth, all of that fun stuff. But I typically don't expect the best outcome out of all of it. And when I don't expect the best outcome, sometimes I attract the negative thing. So what are your expectations? When you're trying to achieve success, what are you actually expecting? Because if you're saying, I want to achieve success up here, but I'm actually expecting myself to just be okay or to be marginal, or I'm expecting to have such a hard time with everything, I'm expecting myself to fail like I always do and have all the self-limiting beliefs that I consistently always have, then you're going to get just that. What you expect is ultimately what you get. If you expect greatness from yourself, if you expect that you are going to overcome, if you expect that you're going to rise through things, if you expect that you're going to have the best possible outcome no matter what comes your way, and that all of the bad things you're going to transition them to for your good, you're going to get that. So set your expectations. And we set expectations for so many other things in life, but when it comes to setting expectations for how good we can be, when it comes to setting expectations for how strong we can be and how much we can handle, we don't do that. We set expectations for other people in our relationships. We set expectations for how people are supposed to, communicate with us at our jobs. We set expectations and high expectations for a lot of other things. But when it comes to us, we're scared of it because we're scared that we won't hit the mark. That's not how it should be. Your expectations for yourself should be the highest that you can. Now, you have to equally temper that with a level of self-grace. You have to equally temper that with a level of being kind to yourself, because I say that, and I think in areas I'm a perfectionist. So if I'm not kind to myself, then it stresses me out that I didn't hit a mark. But what I do is I set a mark so that I know that I'm aiming for. If you have no expectations for yourself, but you're saying, but this thing, success over here, whatever my self-defined success is, I'm going to get it. You might not. And I say you might not, you probably won't. So set the most positive expectations and outlook that you can on your life. I talked about this before, but when I hit rock bottom financially, like 5 or 6 months ago, not months ago, years ago. If it was months ago, I couldn't do this podcast, but years ago, I expected that at some point in time, I'm going to get out of this. And there were standards that I put on my life so that when I woke up every single morning, I had to walk out those standards so I could meet those expectations. That is one of the most important things that you can do to start getting towards whatever your self-perceived success is. Number 2, we're going to go right along with the head and heart hits. Number 2 is prepare for the worst. Now, the worst can happen. It might happen. It might not happen, but you want to prepare for it. And so this isn't to be something where it's like, oh, the worst is going to happen, because the worst oftentimes is in our mind. And that's a beautiful thing. But what you can do is you can acquire skills, knowledge, resources, just in case the worst happens. I've gotten laid off 4 times in my professional tech career. I've prepared for layoffs in my tech professional career by continuing my education, by getting certifications, by brushing up on, new trends, on, new things from a technological standpoint, because that's what I enjoy doing outside of podcasting. So if I do that, if and when the worst happens, I'm prepared because I'm able to be back in the job market. I'm able to, come into a new organization. I'm able to help, the organization. I'm able to lead people within the organization because I prepared for the worst. I didn't just sit idly and just think, oh, this is always going to be a smooth ride. If you always think something is going to be a smooth ride, when it hits and it's not smooth, it rocks you. I competed in high rocks, and I do talk about this from time to time. And it is a monster of a fitness competition, and my brother and I do it doubles. It ends up being 5 miles. In between that, a lot of hard, workout stations. If in the preparation for that, I over prepared. So I did harder workouts. I ran faster. I did heavier weights. I did all of that to prepare for the worst. And the worst is halfway through the race when I'm tired and I'm exhausted and I know I have halfway to go. I know that I've already done the work. I know how it feels beyond this. I know I can get through it. And this is the worst. Okay, I can keep pushing. But if I've never done that and then the worst hits, I'm going to shut down. I'm going to quit right there because I don't have any sort of grit in me to continue to walk through because I haven't built the skills. So when you prepare for the worst, make sure you're equipping yourself. I listen to this other podcast. I have some reckless comedy podcasts, but a comedian, Andrew Schultz, he talks about he's a big boxing buff and some other sports, but he talked about the Ball brothers, so Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball, and he talks about how the dad was constantly telling everybody his sons would be NBA players, and he was right. And then he was also talking about boxing. So Gervonta Tank Davis just beat Ryan Garcia, in a knockout a few weeks ago. And he was talking about Gervonta Davis's training. And he was like, there's nothing that Ryan Garcia could have done that was new because Gervonta Davis at such a young age was put in so many stress-bound situations like this in boxing is nothing that he hadn't seen. Same with the Ball brothers. Why the father was so really confident that his sons would not only make the NBA but make an impact and make a name in the NBA was because for at such a young age he was putting them in all of these situations that it's like there's nothing new that you can see. And so what they were able to do is override what you would instinctively do. So in basketball, if a double team comes, most people instinctively just pick up the ball and they freeze, and then it's like, well, now you're dead. The double team can get you. What they instinctively do is not pick up the ball. They're like, okay, a double team comes. I know in this area of the court, this is the only way the double team can get to me. Here's what I have to do, and they do it without thinking. And if you do that consistently over and over, and you acquire these skills, you acquire the resources, you do these things consistently, if the worst happens, you're going to be like, I've seen that coming. Again, I've gotten laid off 4 times. It didn't sting the last time. I was like, okay, I've been here. I know what to do. This isn't going to break me. It doesn't make me feel a certain way. It's like, okay, cool. This is part of it, and we move around it. So whatever that is, whatever your success is, if you prepare for the worst, when things do happen, you're going to be prepared for it, and it's going to override what you would instinctively do, which is sometimes quit. And that's not what you want to do. You can't be successful and then quit at the same time. They're water and oil. They're not going to mesh together. So number 3, and again, back to our head and heart hits, capitalize on what comes. This is about being adaptable and open to change, and not getting married to your plan. When it comes to my life, and because I speak vulnerably and transparently, I always thought it would be, okay, I'm going to be this huge fitness trainer. Then I did that, and I was like, okay, I like that. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to be, I'm going to run this huge apparel company. I did that. I really loved that. And then now it's like, okay, well, it's podcasting, it's writing, it's speaking, and I really love doing this. Who knows what it's going to be in 10 years from now, but I'm being open to what comes, and I'm using and I'm capitalizing on what comes. What I've noticed is a constant in all of that is I've loved motivating people, and I've loved doing that. So this right now is something that I'm like, this gives me the best chance to capitalize on all of my experiences, to take all of the positives that I've seen and all of the negatives that I've seen and capitalize on it. So if I know how to build a brand, if I know how to motivate people, if I know how to do these things, when I get in front of camera and I'm trying to build Chasing Greater Vision, I'm trying to build, my speaking career and all of this stuff, I'm capitalizing on all of these skills that I've already learned and that I've already utilized. And I say that if you kind of take this piece, when I keep saying already, it's because I've consistently tried. You have to consistently try. If you're not consistently trying anything, you can't capitalize on what comes because you're not doing anything for something to come your way, right? Put yourself out there. Try. In order to be successful, you're going to have to really, really work hard. You're going to have to really, really, get uncomfortable. And I keep saying get uncomfortable being uncomfortable, but it's a true thing. You can't sit down and just expect great things to come to you, right? Like you have to go out there and you have to get it. And so also ask yourself the question, are you stuck in being stagnant with your plan? In my life, I've done a lot of different entrepreneurship things. I've worked a lot of different tech jobs. And if I say stagnant after something failed, I would be in a world of hurt. I'd be sitting depressed, crying, being like, well, this should have been the thing. It had to be the thing. Well, sometimes that's not the thing. And so my plan was thrown out the window, and I had to recalibrate. I had to write a new map. I had to have a little bit of faith involved. Okay, God, where are you trying to take me to now? And listen in. If you're staying stagnant to your plan after you've gotten hit in the face and you are spending your time just complaining about it and being so upset over it, instead of capitalizing on all of the skills that you've actually acquired that you might not even know that you've acquired, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Take inventory of what's come your way, positive and negative, and figure out areas that you can capitalize on it in order to move to the next thing. It's like refining the process at every single point. What we're doing with Chasing Greater Vision is way more refined than the first time I ever created, a tank for 413 apparel. And it's Not because the quality of the tank was spot on. We just didn't have processes for chasing greater vision. We have vision for what we're doing. We have process. We have all of these things. We have communication channels. We have these things that are pushing us forward, because I realized that wasn't there in the early stages of my last venture. So in the early stages of this, let's have that mapped out. So in a year or 2 years from now, we can have better things mapped out because we've gotten this down pat that we got from something prior to. So to bring it all together, first, expect the best. You're not going to get the best if you don't expect the best. You're not going to get success in the best possible way that you deem so for yourself if you are not expecting that you're going to get it, if you are not expecting the best out of yourself, if you're not expecting that you can even be successful in it. Number two, prepare for the worst. Doesn't mean the worst is going to happen. Doesn't mean, you have to just be some I would say not conspiracy theorist, but doesn't mean you don't have to theorize of all the bad things. But sometimes bad things do happen. And what you want to do is, the cliche saying is, you don't want to be caught with your pants down. Make sure that you are acquiring the skills, resources, techniques, just in case the worst happens, so you can navigate your way through and out of that situation. And number three, capitalize on what comes, positive or negative things. They will teach you something. Capitalize on it by taking those things and allowing it to refine your process, allowing it to refine who you are, to push you forward, to push you closer towards your success. Our word of the day today, this is our word of the day, word of the week. Whenever you see this, make it your word, is flexible. Being flexible is going to allow you to be open to more success than you realize. Being flexible allows you to expand your network. It allows you to understand that, hey, sometimes your plan might get thrown out the window and you got to create a new map. It allows you to realize that, hey, some days is going to be a bad day, but I got to be flexible around this because the next day is going to be a good day. Flexibility is great. Flexibility is great when it comes to fitness. It allows you to actually grow stronger. Now that I'm thinking about it, in order for you to run faster, to have bigger muscles, to lean out even faster, you have to be mobile. In order to be the most mobile, you have to stretch. You have to be flexible. Flexibility comes with stretching. Stretching yourself and your capabilities is going to lead to your success. So that's why we have flexibility as this word of the day. Look, I hope that this message helps. Success is whatever you define success is. It's not just a monetary thing. I don't define success monetarily because I think that's fleeting. I think it's shallow. I think it's very basic, and it's what as a society we just do. And we're like, oh, if you make a lot of money, you're successful. You have a lot of broken people inside that are millionaires and billionaires. Just doesn't equate, in my opinion. So whatever your self-defined success is, find that. And I believe that you can do it because I'm still chasing my greater vision. My self-defined success is motivating as many people as I can. Do I have a number on it? Not necessarily, but do I know that every single day I'm giving my best effort and I am expecting the best out of this podcast, and I am preparing for anything that goes wrong, and I'm capitalizing on every single interaction I have with you and being able to do this so that I can get better every time? 100%. That's my self-defined success. So we're going to keep doing this together. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time. Thank you all so much for watching the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. If you like this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, send it to friends, use a carrier pigeon, do whatever you have to do. We hope that this inspires you to chase your greater vision in your life and for us to continually and consistently do it together.